Good morning, Flosstube. It's Lori of MischievousStitches. Welcome to my channel. Before I get started sharing any of the things I have to share today, I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to all of you that left comments and questions and watched my last video. After being away from Flosstube for so many months and trying to film again, I struggled to get it started. I would start and restart the video I don't know how many times. I was out of practice, and once I got it completed and I got it posted, all of you left so many comments that it just warmed my heart. It made that struggle so worth it. It was great to be back amongst my Flosstube friends and interacting. And I had lots of comments with questions about doing tutorials, and I've not always been very good with doing tutorials. I've done a couple. I do, for the most part, try to stay away from doing the actual cross-stitching technique type of tutorials because there's so many out there. And I think it's more of a confidence level for me. So I did get a couple of those questions this week, and I said, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm just going to do it. So I did one on railroading stitches, which I had mentioned doing railroading in my video last weekend, which is why I got the questions. And then one on ironing. I had gotten lots of comments on that, asking if I'd show how I would do it, and I did. And they're just quick, short tutorials that were prompted by you, my commenters and watchers. And I thank you for that. Thank you for having the confidence in me when I don't have it sometimes. And what I'm doing that you want to see it. So I appreciate that. So let's jump in. So last weekend, shortly before I did the video, I met with my local stitch group. There's probably, I don't know, 20, 25, 30 of us that were all met at a shop here locally that is now closed. And now we just get together once a month and we stitch. And one of our friends, Judy, she organizes everything, and this time we had a traveling shop that came from just north of Atlanta. Now, the young lady plans to open a actually brick and mortar shop within the next 18 months or so. Unfortunately, I misplaced the card. I did bring the business card. I don't have it to share, and I don't want to butcher the name and give you the incorrect name. I remember the start of it, but anyway, I tried to Google it and didn't see it. So what I will do is those that may be interested in a shop that's coming to north of Atlanta, I will get that information and put it in the description box later on this week. And then if you'll just check this video later in the week, the description box, at least that information will be there. So I'll do that. So I spent the whole morning stitching, shopping, taking a look at everything my friends had found in the shop wares that they had purchased, and I picked up a few things I want to share with you. So the first thing I got was a big piece of fabric. It's a new to me fabric dyer. It's Atomic City Fabrics, and this is Dune. I got the entire yard. So it's like just what it says, a dune. It's a beigey brown. It's hand dyed, of course, so you've got the splotchiness. Let me open it up a little more. And I was hoping to find something perfect for stitch along that I'm doing later on this year in August with my friend Christine. We're gonna do a Bristol sampler, and we're gonna start it together on the 1st of August, and I needed a piece of fabric. I did look, Christine and I visited Panda's Crossing earlier in the month of April, and they didn't have a piece that jumped out at me, but this one did. And let me show you, I'll show you you can see right there, Atomic City Fabrics. I've not stitched on it. I don't have an opinion about anything right now but the color, but I think it's gonna go wonderful. I wish I had brought my red threads down here so you could see it up against the fabric, but I'm sure I'll show it again when I start the stitch along. I did pick up a couple of other things. First of all, this is, every year I try to do new techniques or new things to expand my knowledge of of our craft of needlework. And so I picked up this piece, and it's by Live With Me, and it's And Be My Love. And it's a little needle book, but it's not sewn with a sewing machine. It's sewn in hand. Everything I need is here. It's the ribbons, the threads, the fabrics for the pages, the backing fabric. Everything I need to do is here. And so I want to do this, and with the instructions that are provided, hope it'll help me to expand my knowledge of doing such things. So I look forward to that. It's a cute little needle book, and I can't wait to share it with you when I finish it. Don't ask me for a date. I have no idea. Here's another one I picked up. This is a release from Market. And this year for Market, I tried to buy in brick and mortar shops when I visited. And so when I would see a pattern that I would like to stitch, I would take a screenshot of it. And then when I was out, if I saw it, I would purchase it. But there's so many releases at Market that it's easy to overlook things unless you see another stitcher, or you're with a friend stitcher that buys it and shows it to you, or you see it being stitched on Instagram or on Facebook or on Flosstube. And so I'm happy to finally have this one. It was the first one I chose that I wanted to buy from Market. But this is Spring Chickens Pancake by Stacy Nash. I love Stacy Nash's designs. And lately, I've really loved chickens. My little granddaughter, Evie, her favorite stuffed animal is a chicken. And it's one of the warmies that have, I don't know what's inside. Is it rice or pellets? But there's lavender inside. It's a calming effect for her. But she has it with her everywhere. So there's that. And then I picked this up. I've not done one of these. I've seen them out. I have friends that have stitched them. I did take a look at the directions after I purchased it, and I'm a little intimidated. So I can remember as a young girl having one of those bead looms, and I do remember the concept of weaving the beads in and out. I don't remember how to set up the loom or those type of things, but it has me a little bit intimidated. I did read over the directions, as I said, hoping to, but I'm a visual learner. I'm not here, read the directions and do it. I have to visually see it to be able to do it. So this will be a little bit of a challenge for me. I think my friend Mary's done one. I may have to reach out to her for help. But I picked up this one. And then after finishing these up, now these are the Satsumas I shared with you last week. This is Evie's and this is Waylon's for Christmas this year. I will be finishing these this week, so I'll be able to share them with you, but I picked up one for me. Now as a child in the late 70s, we had a lot of paper decorations for holidays in school, at home, and I don't like scary Halloween. I like happy Halloween. And we had these decorations that we would hang in the windows and on the front door that the colors were very bright, the purples and the oranges and the bright yellows of Halloween, but the black areas of those were flocked with black. And I absolutely loved those. I need to ask my mom if she still has them, but this is what it reminds me of, are those happy Halloween. And this is, it's actually Happy Halloween by Satsuma Street. And he is so cute. He'll work up quickly just like their ornaments. I look forward to doing this. And this is not for my grandchildren. This is for me. And again, I hope to finish these up before the next video to share and have those done. And that's it. That's what I got last weekend. Now I'll fly back one more week. My husband and I went for a quick little long weekend getaway in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. It's right outside of Myrtle Beach. It's, of course, more inland, and we like to go there. It's a little less touristy. It's, in my mind, I tell my husband it's geared towards our age group. You just want to sit and see the water, or be on the pier and have a good seafood meal and chill. So that's what we did. We chilled. But of course, you can't be in Myrtle Beach and not visit Barefoot Needlearts. I had not yet been, and I got to go visit, and I had the best time there. When I walked in, Memory was there, and she knew me from Flosstube, which always is still kind of jarring and takes me aback. I don't feel like I react well most of the time when that happens, but she was just so sweet, so friendly, so kind. I got to meet Amy as well. They do everything. They dye their own fabric. They make scissors fobs. They, what else they had? The totes there, and they make project bags. I was just floored by the amount that, the time and effort they put it into their shop. And if you're ever around that way, around Myrtle Beach, stop and give them a shop. You're not going to be, you're going to be happy about it. So let me share with you what I purchased while I was there. So for my upcoming Bristol sampler stitch, along with my friend Christine, I got this thread keep for my red threads. And then, let's see, she had a trunk show there, and these were sitting on the table with the trunk show, but this is the Blue Flower Rabbit Parade. I've seen several of you stitching it. I love the colors. Seeing it finished there in person made me jump out and get this. I'm all about seeing the framed pieces, the finished pieces there in a shop. And then I got several different pieces of fabric. So I bought, this is, let me see, a piece of their fabric. This is Sea Mist. And I bought this pattern to do on it with this thread. I was looking for the Tiny Modernist has a crab, and it's red. And in my mind, I want to do one and put it on the tree because we spend a lot of time at the beach. My husband and I love the beach. But I'm going to do this for when I think what I'm going to do is make it into just a hanging tag to put on my project bag so when I visit them. So there's that. And then I got a scissors fob. And I got this one because, remember, originally I wanted to do the red one from Tiny Modernist. But this is one of theirs that they make. And then what else did I get? This is my first of this designer. This is Pansy Patch Quilt and Stitching, Bluebirds and Bluebells. And Memory had just finished this up, and it was in the back of the shop, and she took me back to let me see. And I see that she's posted it, I believe, in their Facebook group for the shop. This is where I seen it. It may have been on Instagram, but you can look them up. I'll link her shop and her Instagram page below, Facebook and Instagram. But she had stitched this one up, and it was beautiful. And it was stitched on, I believe this is correct, Beach Days. And you wouldn't think, it was perfect. I'm pretty sure. You know what? I better show both of these because I'm not sure which of these two fabrics. I'm thinking it was this one that she had stitched it on, and it was beautiful. Beautiful. If I'm wrong, correct me. And then I got this piece, and this is Spring Seas. This is a 32 count. This is the one I was thinking, well, maybe it was this one that she stitched it on, and it may have been. I think I may have gotten them wrong. This side has a little more color to it, so you can see it better. I think it was this one. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then I picked up this one. This was another of my picks from Market. This is an Erica Michaels Heirloom Tomato. I've not put together a strawberry yet, and I want to do that. And then I'm going to do it on, I don't know if it's this one. Anyway, I bought this fabric to do these things, and I didn't keep them together. So I'm not sure if this is the one for that or not, but I'm going to share with you the fabric. This is Sandy Toes. Isn't that pretty? So that's everything I got from them. And then I had a couple of finishes. So when I left you last week, I had come down and filmed, and I didn't have my current project with me, and I was going to share that with you this week. And this is a Simple Wish by Blackbird Design. And this was passed to me by a stitch friend that sat at a table with me at a Toccoa, Georgia retreat probably 5-6 years ago. It's been a while. And I started it in Mania of 18 and just kind of labored away. It was a bad year for me, and I was trying to focus on something other than everything that was going on other than my pain, and it became cross stitch. And so I was focusing on all of that, but I wasn't finishing anything. I was just buying and starting, and so I have lots of starts, and I'm trying to get that number down again. But anyway, flash forward, I picked it out of my whip pile and I finished it up. So I want to share it with you. This is a beautiful piece. I posted a picture on Instagram and I just could not get the colors to come out right. The colors are pretty true to what you're seeing right now. They may be a little bit washed with the light from the window, but this is full of eyelets. Now, the thing about the eyelets that draw me in, now that it's finished, is the use of color. So there is a cross stitch on these here. There's a cross stitch outline of those. I'm going to say they're flowers because to me it reminds me of a vine. So there's a cross stitched outline, and then inside it may be the same thread that was used to do the cross stitching, or it may be another color. So you have a lot of color variation in there because it really is different threads. You've got some eyelets here in this pink flower in the center. You have some here and a piece of this vine that's in this flower arrangement. There are some here in the top. I think right here. Yeah, there's some in the top. This one's just larger than those. This is a flower and the rest of them must be buds. In the 2023 down here, there's an eyelet here. There's some smaller eyelets in just the fill-in, I call it fill-in area at the bottom of the vase. And then up here past my name, there was, it was Barb Adams. And I knew there would not be enough room to put my entire first name and last name. So I just did the initial for my first name and put my last name. And then I still had a good bit of area there that needed some filler. So I took the concept from here and just added to it, and it didn't call for, I put a few additional eyelets, even though I was dreading them by then, but I knew I was close to the end, so it was okay. And I'm not sure, I probably framed this one. I'm not sure. It's bigger than I was anticipating. I was thinking needle bookish, but it's too big for that, so it'll probably be framed. But this is a Simple Wish by Blackbird Design. It is stitched on, because it was a kit. Let me take a look and I can tell you what it was stitched on. Old Mill Java, 30 count by R&R. It did call for 2 strands of thread. And when I started it, I did not like the coverage. I love to stitch with one thread as a rule, but the problem with this was when you're doing the eyelets, you can see they look puffy now. Can you imagine those with 2 strands of thread? And you wouldn't see the center hole. And I've noticed with the hand dyed fabrics, it's like you've got the fabric count, say 30 count. When it's dyed, it's like the fabric shrinks. And so what was 30 count originally becomes 32, 33, 36, whatever. I don't think it's 36. That's a lot of shrinkage. But I think that's what the issue was here. And I'm not counting the stitch count. But all in all, I'm happy with how it is. It gives it that kind of faded, muted, antique sampler kind of look with just one thread. And I just really like the way it made the eyelets look. I could have just stitched it and only stitched the eyelets with one thread, but I just like the look of it. So there's that. And when I finished that, which was Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, I picked up something small. And I picked up Little House Needleworks Cocoa. And this is an ornament. And there, I don't know if she still puts ornaments out, but she used to do ornaments like a series. And I've done one of these before, and I can't remember. I'll have to pull it out. But this one stitched up really quick. The colors are beautiful, very Christmassy. And this is another one I hope to have fully finished by the end of this month. I've got everything I need, all the supplies. I just need to sit down and do it. So those are my 2 finishes. Now for a start. I went ahead and pulled the threads. I don't have them on a ring, they're just loose. I got this piece at Dixie Darling last year, so when I pulled it out, it still had the business card. But this is by Sweet Wings Studio, which is a new to me designer. I've not stitched anything by this designer before. And this is Forever in Peace. With Memorial Day coming up in just a couple of weeks, I thought this would be the perfect thing to start. And that's just a few of the threads. I think when I purchased it, they only had 2 or 3 of the actual overdyes. And so I just pulled DMC that I have from upstairs to fill in the gaps that they didn't have when I purchased it. And I'm going to stitch it on Antique White Belfast. And there's the Dixie Darling. But it looks, for the most part, to be kind of like a full coverage piece. It's not very big. It's 91 by 98. But when you're doing full coverage, that's a lot of stitching. So 91 by 98. They stitched it on 32 count. And what do I have? I have 32. So it finishes up at 5 3/4 by 6 1/8. So basically 5 by 6 inches. So I'm going to give that a start tonight. Got my Q-snap ready, my scissors, I don't use grime guards. I buy sheets of felt from Hobby Lobby. They're like $2 for $1. And then I'll cut it in the strips. And then this goes around the edges between the fastener of the Q-snap and my fabric to keep me from getting my grungy little paw prints on it. And other than that, I have nothing else to share. I do have some haul that I'll share again next week from my visit to Panda's Crossing. And I visited Tudor Rose Needlearts up in Clarksville, Georgia. And that was back in November. So I have the haul from that to share, along with the haul that I picked up when I went back to Panda's Crossing last month with my friend Christine. But I'll share all that for next week. So thanks for visiting with me today. Again, thanks for all the comments on my last video. It warmed my heart, and I'm so glad you took the time to visit with me today. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. I'm sure those children are thankful for everything you've taught them, all the love you've given them, and all those hugs. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.